The murder trial for Stephan Stearns has been pushed back now. He's the man accused of abusing and killing a 13-year-old girl named Madeline Soto. As West 2's Megan Mulatto tells us, a judge has approved a request to delay the trial by 3 months.
Stephan Stearns was set to have 2 pre-trial hearings Wednesday, one for the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto and another for the 60 charges he's facing involving child sex crimes.
State of Florida versus Stephan Stearns.
The hearings were combined into one, but he didn't show up. His appearance was waived. Again, his attorney has been representing him.
The court received waivers of Mr. Stearns' appearance on all cases. The court will accept the waivers of appearance.
Stearns is the boyfriend of Madeline's mother. Investigators say they found pictures and videos on his phone that showed him abusing Madeline for years, which led to the 60 charges. She was reported missing after not showing up to school in February. Her body was found in a wooded area a few days later, leading to the murder charge. The murder trial was set to start next week, but a judge has approved a request from Stearns' team for more time.
We are moving to continue, Your Honor. We have quite a bit of work to do on the case.
Adding there could be more than 170 witnesses in this case.
We're also requesting that instead of it being on a pretrial docket, that it go onto a status docket. That way the state isn't constantly sending out subpoenas for, I believe there's somewhere in the vicinity of 177 witnesses right now.
Though the state requested the new date be within the next 30 to 45 days, the judge set the trial for October 14th.
Both cases will run together. Thank you.
The state attorney's office says Stearns will face the death penalty if he's found guilty in Madeline's murder. In Osceola County, Megan Mulatto, West 2 News.
What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, this story broke last night, and it's big news out of Florida, Kissimmee area, where Stephan Stearns, everybody knows who Stephan Stearns is, pictured up here. This guy took the life of 13-year-old Madeline Soto the day of or the day after her birthday, when she turned 13. Now, he's been locked up. I've done video upon video on this subject, and some new interesting information has come out as far as his jailhouse emails, which were released to the public, and they speak of something different than what a lot of us are thinking, about the whole situation. Now, a lot of us said, the mother of Madeline Soto, Jennifer Soto, had something to do with it. I still believe that personally. I still think she knew something. And I mean, after what I'm about to show you on this series of videos today, it seems like a lot of us might have been true. A lot of this might have been true. I told you before, this trial, which they just pushed back to October 18th or 14th, I think. They pushed the trial date back. I told you this thing is going to be full of surprises and craziness, because just the way they act is eyebrow raising. Take a look at this story of what was discovered as of recently, and then we'll come back and jump into the other video after I say what I got to say about the first one. Look.
New documents released today shed more light on Stephan Stearns, the man accused of sexual battery on a child and for the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto.
Those documents include several back-and-forth conversations between Stearns and presumably his family. West 2's Luana Munoz is live in studio tonight. And Luana, you've been pouring through these conversations. What exactly do they entail?
Summer, Stephan Stearns goes back and forth again with his mother and who we believe might be his father, Chris Stearns. Stephan Stearns seems to believe that there's still some hope for his case, while his mother makes reference to others possibly being involved. One day after Stephan Stearns' trial was delayed, the state attorney's office released this 64-page document of email correspondence between Stearns and who appears to be his parents. The conversation starts off with Stearns complaining about life in isolation, saying, quote, "It's not exactly the Ritz, it's a small cell and the pot is quite noisy. The mat is flat and has very little cushion left. The cell is small, filthy, and has some spots on the wall that appear to be bloody fingerprints." He later complains of his coffee supply running low and continues to ask for a book. It's an odd conversation for the 38-year-old accused of 60 counts of sexual battery of a child and for the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. Detectives say Stearns is seen on surveillance video driving around with Soto's dead body in his car before allegedly dumping her in a rural field in February. In an email dated June 25th, Stearns tells his family, quote, "There's still perhaps a slim hope for my situation." He goes on to say, "I maintain hope that I might be able to come home once this whole nasty business has reached its end, and ask that you both remain hopeful as well and continue to pray for me to be delivered home again." A redacted email is then sent back to Stearns signed Mom that alludes to some accusations. She says, "We all know Redacted was heavily involved in this, and I'm disgusted that she's free and you're not, when this is not all your fault. You need to think about yourself more and her less. She sure isn't thinking about you and how she can help you right now. That whole family is willing to stay quiet and let you take the fall for everything." She goes on to say, quote, "I think of the craziness Redacted lived through with Redacted's various partners, not a stable life for a child at all. I do pray for Redacted and you daily."
Well, Stearns' trial was expected to start next week, but just yesterday his attorney asked that be pushed back. His new trial date is now scheduled for October 14th.
You guys see that? A lot is coming out. Now, this guy is an idiot. Number one, you complain about jail when your dumb ass put yourself there, and I'm trying not to cuss. I'm trying to be nice. A lot of y'all said something about the comments about you like my material, but I cuss too much. I'm sorry about that, but I'll try to do better. But he talking about he low on commissary. Nothing new. But in those situation, in the situation of what his mom said, that's his mother that's talking, and father, presumably they said, and he's had the name redacted, but we all know who that was. They talking about Madeline Soto, and he said she had an on again, off again type of relationship. And I always sit back and thought, I'm like, I wonder what the cause of what drove the on again, off again relationship. Was it him or was it her? Now, mom is saying, Stephan Stearns' mother saying, oh, all these different relationships she had and this and that. Looking at her sheepish nature, I think it's a little bit more than that. It is. And I think part of it is him, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. The mom is talking and saying all that stuff, and him, no, he on the recorded line, ain't saying nothing about it. They talking about, you better say something about what she's doing because she plays a part in this too. Now, I will say this, man. A lot of times mothers can be dismissive. It's nothing wrong with loving your child and supporting them. But when they're wrong, there has to be some sense of accountability. And I think Stephan Stearns' mom is just talking for some odd reason on a certain level to where she honestly believes he didn't do this. Because did you hear what he said? It's a slim hope that I'll get out. So we don't know what he's telling his people, because we know damn well he not telling them he did that. You've been touching this girl since she was 8 or 9 years old. I think it was 9 years old. And another thing a lot of people don't understand, they said it was up to 170 plus witnesses for this. Now you might think, well, Steve, how they got 177 plus witnesses or whatever? And, if they was the only ones in the house and it was going on in the home, I'll tell you why. There have been reports, right? Remember when I did a story you could put together, there were reports where teachers were saying we failed and we saw signs, but we didn't say anything, and so on and so forth. That caused a big stir up. She was tired. She was irritated, coming to school, wanting to sleep, not feeling well. One of the reasons why supposedly, and I'll get down there with these court documents and find all this stuff out after it comes out, after a lot more comes out. But there are reports out there, guys, that this guy was, because they said, remember, she said she couldn't sleep by herself. She had anxiety. Somebody had to cuddle with her and all this other craziness. This guy was over medicating her to where he was doing what he was doing while she was asleep. And that's why they keep saying that everything is disturbing, because she was drugged up, supposedly, when this guy was doing his dirt to her as a child. That's an evil human being, man. It don't get no worse than that. Selectively taking advantage of a child. And then you sitting in jail talking about the mattress is lumpy and all this other stuff. You got a hell of a nerve. And for your people to be watching the news like everybody else and seeing all these allegations and not questioning you about them. And all you saying is, I didn't do it, and they just believe in it. Especially with the nature of what they said, you know, what people are talking about, friends and family coming out and talking about what kind of person this guy is. The mom has to be either dismissive or delusional. They have to be. It's no way. More news has come out. I'm going to show you another video. A second vehicle went to the site where the body was dumped. Go figure that. You cannot tell me that Jennifer Soto don't know nothing. You can't. Either she's in the state's pocket against him and they're going to give her immunity, which I think she does not deserve at all. Or is somebody else played a role? But trust me, I think she knows. Take a look at this. In the comment section, tell me what y'all think.
We've got some new details in the disappearance and murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. To get you up to speed here, Madeline was reported missing on February 26th after not showing up at school. Her mom's boyfriend, Stephan Stearns, was arrested days later on sexual battery charges. Her body was found March 1st in Osceola County. Authorities now believe Stearns killed Soto at her Kissimmee apartment, then dumped that body miles away in St. Cloud. Now we're learning a second car traveled to the location where the teen's body was later found. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest explains.
Shortly after Madeline Soto was reported missing, detectives pieced together the movements of Stephan Stearns' car using license plate readers, traffic cameras, and other surveillance cameras. Now, I've been going through some of the evidence released by prosecutors and discovered detectives also traced the movements of a second car. Stephan Stearns has pleaded not guilty to sexually molesting and murdering Madeline Soto. If convicted, he faces the death penalty. Stearns originally told investigators that he dropped the 13-year-old off at school, but she never came home. Authorities now say that was a lie. On February 26th, the day that Soto was reported missing, detectives say they were able to trace the movements of a silver Lincoln that was driven by Stearns. Around 12:49 in the afternoon, the Lincoln was caught on camera leaving the Venetian Bay Village apartments in Kissimmee where Soto lived with her mom. The car was then photographed multiple times as it traveled east towards St. Cloud and Old Hickory Tree Drive. That's just blocks from where detectives would later find Soto's body. After remaining in that area for about an hour, detectives say the silver Lincoln returned to the apartment the same way, arriving back around 2:43 p.m. That was on February 26th. The very next morning, around 3:18 a.m., detectives say a different car, a white Nissan, left the apartment complex and took nearly the exact same route down to Old Hickory Tree Drive. After spending about a half hour in the area where Soto's body was later found, the white Nissan headed back to the apartment. Now, records released by prosecutors do not indicate who owned that white Nissan, and the reports do not say whether investigators believe it was Stearns or someone else traveling in the Nissan that morning. There are still a lot of unanswered questions about Madeline Soto's death. I expect to learn a lot more as prosecutors continue to build their case against Stearns. Mike DeForest, News 6.
So, guys, what do you think? I think he went back. Everything blew up. He told her, oh, take it easy, lay in the bed or whatever. And he went back out there in her car, I guess to confuse somebody if somebody saw or tracked the cars. I find it very hard to believe that JENN Soto, he took her and showed her the body. A lot of people are saying that in comment sections in other videos. I doubt that very seriously because this guy tried to cover the crime up. It's no forgiving what he did, and the sorry's won't suffice. He won't even admit guilt. Now he got all of these videos in his phone. He driving around with this dead child's body in his car. Took her from the trunk. From the front seat to the trunk, where somebody saw him doing that in the parking garage, and dropped her off out there. So I think he went back. In using JENN's car, most likely, he went back and made sure the body was covered up. I don't see him taking her out there, but you cannot tell me she don't know something. It might not be as far as him being the one that did it. Now she know, but you cannot tell me at 8 or 9 years old, a little girl did not come to you and say, hey, I hurt down here, or something's not right with me. Can you look at me? Was you inspecting this child? That's why I don't give her no respect. She shouldn't get no immunity. The deeper we go down this rabbit hole, the more wild this is going to be, man. And when the trial starts October 14th or 18th, whatever, I plan on coming down there and covering it. And this thing, man, I'm telling you, this is just the tip of the iceberg, because it's starting to form. Pieces starting to form. But the mom, Stephan Stearns' mom, saying, oh, you better start talking and tell him what you know and all this other stuff. We don't know where it's going, but we do know this rabbit hole, like I said, is deeper than we thought it was. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I hope Maddie Soto get the justice he deserves. Either way, no matter what they do to him, it doesn't equal up to the pain and suffering that she went through. And to be left out there like common trash and living with the mother and coming back and acting like he didn't know nothing, and he's doing well wishes to a dead child that he killed. Oh, I hope she's safe. Come home. That's sickening to me. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.